Greetings all, devlog number 3. It's been a little while, had some serious issues with database and all that, still managed to resolve it. We'll cover that shortly. However, I do have a actual show and tell. So if I hit play here, basically the logon system is working, which means you can log in, you can create accounts, you can create characters. As you can see, there's some bad GUI artifacts here I need to work out, but apart from that, it's fine. You can choose your character. Even though this is an ugly screen, I still need to do a lot of stuff. And we can log in. This is all database driven. So that's pretty cool, huh? Not much considering Game Jam is already 23 days done. But once again, we have our client, and then we have the logon, the gateway server, which is what you can see here. And then we have the authentication server, which is this one here. So that's 3 code bases already. And then we have this one here, which is the database server. So this connects to MySQL and does everything for us. So it's all database driven. This also, while I was at it, logs everything. So I've got this GUI logging panel now. As you can see, it is just logs everything. You can see logins, logouts, all that type of stuff, and it also gets logged into the database. So if we come over to here, schemas, MMO, table views, let's close some of these, TBL log, we can just go select 1,000 rows, boom. We got all this stuff in here, gateway IDs, player IDs. So if anything goes wrong, I can trace it, which is awesome. It makes life a lot easier for debugging. And just because I have fat fingers and mistype all the time, I've actually enabled the MySQL general log, which shows me everything the database server is running against it and in the order that it was run. So that helps significantly as well, speed things up. So the database server, coming back to that, it is now a new code base, which is in C#. So as you can see here, there's no scripts or anything. What we need to do is go into Visual Studio. So I went to town on this. Basically what we've got here is the database class, which is the main class for the server. This is all Go.C#. So all the other servers are in GDScript. Basically what happens is we start the server up here, get ready, set up services. So we connect to the database, get all of our nodes and stuff. Then we run get to database, start server, then we set up a few things. So what we're doing in here is there is some magic in here. As you can see, I've got my 3 classes. So up the top here, I initiate a class for each type. So I've broken everything up into models to make everything so much easier. So as you can see, under the models folder here, accounts, authentication, characters, news. And what happens is the main DB class here goes through, and in my servers here, so if we just come over to, obviously not the client, the gateway server, for example, I have this DB script. So there's a few things in here, like just the connections and disconnections. But the 2 main ones here, or 3 main functions here, is the log script. So this basically logs, and I've made it set up as a queue. So if you actually call log, it adds it to a queue, and then send log is basically called in the process, and it sends the log over. So if the server's not connected, it stalls the logs until it is. I did DDoS myself at one stage with that. I shut down the logon server, the database, the logging database server. Went to work, come back, reconnected, and it was like 900 messages saying the gateway couldn't connect to the logon server. But at least I know I can handle quite a bit of load, which is good. Accidental load testing. So as you can see, if the DB server is connected, it will send it over directly. Otherwise, it will add it to the queue, and then the queue will process. Sorry, you call the log, it will add it to the queue. This gets called with the first message off the queue, and if it is connected, it will send it over. Otherwise, it will push it back to the front of the queue. And these 2 functions here are auto magic. So when you call these, you call it with the node that you called it and the function to call back. So what will happen is it will add these into the query, and then it will send it across, right? And then this kicks in, and as you can see, we come down here, query DB, this function here, 300 lines of code just for this. So what happens is it goes and processes the incoming data. So what we do is, I should be able to show you, this is how we set it up. So what we do is we get the receiving RCP ID, because this is a gateway server, the client ID. Then we set the parameters, so the character name, so this is create character function. We send it the parameters, a name, token, and the player ID, and then we send it this, and this is the auto magic. This is the model to use, and this is the function to call. And then the parameters, the script that we want the returning call to go to, so that's ourself, and the function we want to call. So this actually calls return create character, and boom, this gets called once the data comes back. So back here, it goes through, it actually splits that string up. So we've got the model, the query group has the model and the function. So that's the model there, and that's the function to call. Then what we do is we do a case statement, just to make this a little bit easier for you, based off the model. And then what happens is that we basically, I can auto magic this a lot more, so this is only one line of code, but like I consider that polish, and we don't want to do that now. I just want to get this done. So what we do is we call the model and the actions queue. Now in the model itself, like using, we'll just go off the characters for now. We've got this dictionary here, and it's made up of a function reference. So what we do is we dynamically load the function calls into a dictionary. So what we're doing over here is we're going, does this dictionary have this function? And if it does, we call the function with the parameters that were passed from the client, and then we get the data back. We set the return data to the data. If there's errors, blah, blah, blah. And then down the bottom here is we update parameters in return. So I clear stuff, like I delete stuff like passwords and all that in that function. And then we send it back to the return query results function, right? Which, so if we come back to the gateway, where DB client, that's this here. So what we're doing is we're grabbing the return node and the function name, which is what we had here, which we added into the parameters, and let's just delete that, and then node to call virtual function, function to call, and then we pass the results through as the parameter. And that is how that works. It's bloody awesome. So a bit of auto magic. If I have some time, I'll probably polish that up, but that will probably be after the game jam. Anyway, that's where I'm at the moment. I get to start having fun with playing with the actual doing the worlds and 3D stuff, which is all absolutely brand new to me. So I'm looking to have more exciting news in the devlog number 4. Anyway, everyone have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.